Hey everybody, this is Godpool, and welcome to another episode of Unsolved. I am joined by Zia, who is playing Lisa.
Hello.
And Michael, who's playing Jean.
Hello.
And Brienne, who's playing Leslie.
Hi.
Callan will be joining us a little bit later. He had stuff that he had to do before he could start, so he'll be joining a little bit later. And I'll let you guys know when he's joining. But we are continuing from where we last left off our agents and our little police officer. And let's see. Is there anything you guys want to ask or stuff like right before we start? Because if not, I'm gonna jump into your skill increases that we forgot to do last time.
Go ahead.
I'm good.
Sweet. So let's start with you, Lisa. Did you actually? I don't remember.
No.
Yeah.
All of my rolls were garbage.
Oh yeah. It was Leslie and Jean who got like crits and stuff like that. So, let's start with you, Jean. You old fart.
Okay.
So, I'm gonna open up your sheet here just so that I can see stuff. Let's start. Let's do psychology first.
Roll a d100.
Yep.
No.
Nope. You do not increase your psychology. And
that would
then
have been cool if you tried to utilize someone though.
I'll
Spot hidden.
Yeah, spot hidden. I'll uncheck the uncheck it for you.
Yeah. I killed the spot hidden as well.
So no increases for Eugene. Let's see if Leslie gets lucky.
Alright.
That's fine.
You are starting with
Right, you wanna
listen. I'll uncheck it for you because I got it open in front of me.
Okay. No, I don't succeed either.
Then you got a psychoanalysis. That one's gonna be hard for you. Oh! So you can roll a d10 and multiply it by divide it by 2. It's basically a d5 that you get to increase, and you increase it by 2.
Oh, alright.
So your psychoanalysis is now at 77. And
Alright, now psychoanalysis?
Yeah, psychology. No, that one is botched. So, I think that's everything for increases. I'm gonna check if Callan will get them later when he comes. Just real quick, then I'll know about it. I don't think he critted anything. No, he does not. That was my phone. That was much louder than it was supposed to be. And now it's on silent.
So you had a flute player in the background.
Oh my god, my phone's just like shaking like crazy. So, let us recap a little bit what happened last time. Let's see, Lisa, let's have you do a bit of the recap.
So where we left off, or just the episode in general?
Just the episode in general, in like very short words, and then just where we left off.
So the FBI agents were a ragtag team of FBI agents, not quite all specializing in what they were assigned. Got sent out to do a little bit of trying to think of the correct words. Do a little bit of investigating on a murder case that the LAPD, a bizarre murder case that the LAPD called in, and a pretty green detective met them at the gates and showed them around and gave them a little bit of city background, and they met with the police chief, who they pissed off quite successfully, and now they are waiting to really dig into the meat of the case, which they believe to be already slightly obstructed by the police force. How's that?
That sounds pretty good.
I posted in police documentation, since at the end of the last episode, the FBI agents were expecting a car to come pick them up in the morning to ride around town. I posted some things about the car in the Discord for our lovely agents and G-Man to see.
Ah, yes. I'm gonna... whoa, that was not supposed to happen. But yes, I'm going to get that image right now so that I can actually show it on the... so that people can see the car. It's a nice looking car.
I couldn't think of anything more clever for the vanity plates. I wanted to put the bowl, but it looked too much like the butt.
Let's see. Yeah, I'll just save it like that because I got stuff in front of my keyboard. I got a computer in front of my keyboard.
I'm trying to think of like the most ostentatious things that I could think of for like the car to be. The only thing I can think of is it probably has white leather interior.
So I'm gonna set it up here so that people can see it. We had a picture of like a car that but this is her dad's car. It's a very small image here. I'm gonna increase the size of it. That's the car, and and I'm gonna show you the vanity plate. And then this is on the hood of the car.
Yeah. Just on the
two boxing gloves.
Little hump nose it has.
Yeah. So now we can all rest assured that her dad is a very, very serious man.
Yeah.
So
and she has. I have to say this though. She has her bike either tied to the hood of the car, in some sort of bike rack, or in the trunk.
It would probably be in the trunk.
Okay.
Because I think it would because it might be like a little bit in the way if it's on the hood and stuff. But yeah, there's probably also space in the in the trunk. So you were basically Lisa was a little bit spent a little more time at the station than the agents because they had just arrived via flight and they were a bit tired because they had to deal with differences in time and everything like that. So they decided to rest up early so that they could rise and shine at very early next morning to start working. And Lisa was going to bring the car. So we are going to start with you, Lisa. You are. Were you going to talk to your dad the day before, or?
Yeah, I figure she would have given him a call, and sort of explain the situation. Say, these FBI agents have come to get town. Oh my God, I'm so excited. In the sort of stoic, not stoic, but in the sort of calm and not quite excited way she speaks, and her dad would go, "Oh, FBI agents, huh? That's cool. You need a car? Okay, I'll pull out. You can borrow my car, sure, sweetie." And he would. I don't know if he would have more than one car, but he would have definitely pulled out like the fanciest, most just like all the stops car.
Yeah.
Because either he wants her to impress them, or he just he wants to keep the low key car for himself. And he would have one of his someone who's employed by him or just one of his buddies drop it off for her in the morning.
Yeah, so when you are coming out of your house, like in the morning, the cars
would just be there. Maybe she'd chat with the person who dropped it off, offer them coffee, and then drive to work.
Yeah.
Because she gets up ridiculously early.
So, you had all decided to wake up around somewhere around 6 a.m. if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6 a.m. and be ready pretty early, be ready around 7, I think. So the first hour of the day, when you all kind of wake up, you start getting ready, and it's you just kind of dress yourself, get a little. Where are you going to get breakfast together?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you.
Yeah, I think we were gonna go back to the diner.
Yeah.
We're gonna meet at the diner.
Yeah. So you're just gonna meet up at the diner.
Yeah.
When Eugene, when you wake up and you're walking to the door, there is a note that has been slipped under the door, and it's from Agent Barden, and it says that he will basically that he will join you later. He has some business that he needs to take care of before he joins you.
Yeah, so Gene just sort of rolls his eyes, not really believing the note, but Gene at this point wouldn't push it, so he's just going to walk to the diner. If he doesn't want to be part of this case, he'll end up ending right up later.
We have now managed to excuse Kellen for being late. And your characters have genuine reason to be like, why are you late? Now, I'm guessing since you're all since you're going to be eating breakfast and stuff together, so I'm guessing you're pretty early at the diner, around 6:30 maybe. Lisa is probably the last one to arrive on her car.
I would probably stop by the police department just to be punctual and make sure that it is that everyone knows that I'm not skipping, and probably gather some of the information on the case, just jot down notes from the file in my little notepad, important type, but not taking the actual file with me because that'd probably be against the rules. And then I, dash to the diner.
Yeah, so you're leaving the car at the station.
No. When I say dash, I just mean go as fast as I can without speeding because I'm a good girl.
Ah. Okay. So you park it when you get your coffee. When you and Leslie get your coffee, you see the car. You see a car roll up into one of the parking spaces, and you can see Lisa just exit the car and heading towards the diner. Would you guys order coffee for her as well when you see her come?
I wouldn't have. I would have just gotten one for myself.
I wouldn't have known what type of coffee she would have wanted. We didn't see her drink coffee. For all I know, she might be a teetotaler. Not uncommon. So I would have probably ordered her a glass of orange juice.
So, Lisa, when you walk in and you see the agent, you walk to them, take a seat. A glass of orange juice is placed in front of you shortly after that. And
I would sort of like, you know, do the sort of thing when you get breakfast. Is that mine or is that yours? And you know, I'm not saying anything, but just sort of with eye contact. And I would imagine Leslie sort of does the same thing, but indicates it's for me.
Yeah, exactly.
And then
Say
I
sorry
would say, "Oh,
for what
thank you
you
very
want."
much," and proceed to drink it because, you know, before I left my apartment, I would assume that she had coffee just to wake up, and so, you know, and she doesn't see it as sort of any sort of insult or anything, so she just drink it.
Yeah.
Goes, "Oh, thank you." Drink the coffee. Drinks the OJ.
So now the agent have been reunited with the detective this morning, and you were gonna go over your plans for the day. You hadn't planned completely what you were gonna do the next day.
No.
No, I don't think we had an official plan put together yet at this point.
If anything, you didn't really have a proper discussion after you talked to the chief.
Outside,
So
Lisa points out
Gene
a flock of released parrots that normally roams around the city. Exotic pets that have escaped and formed their own flock.
That's a...
So I guess that I would go over our possible, the people we might want to talk to today, stating that I think that probably Aggie Underwood is who we would probably want to talk to first, if we can see the pictures that she took. Then potentially going to the landlord of the victim. Probably second that I ask if anybody else would like to offer up their ideas for where we should start out.
I would probably suggest going to the scene of the crime just to get sort of a better sense of the you know, who, if there might have been anyone who lived or was around there who might have seen anything but wouldn't come forward to the police, like homeless people or anyone who, you know, anyone, if it's an area where that's sort of empty, if there was any like drug dealer on the corner that might have seen something.
Right.
How is Lisa dressed?
Well, since she did not bike, she would probably be in a pant skirt. Probably like some sort of hideous, really pale, tan beige sort of thing with a, you know, sensible shirt underneath.
The Gene sort of looks up from his coffee. You can tell he didn't sleep well last night, if at all, which is probably why he's so quiet this morning. And he just sort of looks at you through lidded eyes and goes, "So we're going to go out to the crime scene to find people that didn't want to talk to the cops so that they would talk to the cops." Sure.
And Lisa just nods.
Leslie says, looks over at Dean, see if he's wearing anything that looks formidable, like a uniform or a suit or something that says official, because Leslie definitely would have dressed up like a professor, maybe corduroy pants and a vest and some elbow patches. But I just want to make sure that nobody looks like we're
Yeah,
We're
Lisa's
of the authority.
pantsuit or pant skirt looks more like, a working woman of the future. Like, not when I say of the future, I don't mean of the future. I just mean like, from 20 years from now. She looks like she would be, a reporter or something, but not necessarily a police officer.
All right, and what's Jean wearing?
Jean smartly dressed in the button-up with a jacket and pants. It screams something more than a businessman, but you can't really. But it's not obviously federal agent either.
So I reach over and tap on Jean's shoulder and say, "You might want to take that jacket off when we get in the car. You look a bit conspicuous. We're going to try and not be observed."
It's January. It keeps me warm.
Wait, hold on. Aren't we in the south of California?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
you're right.
It's 70 degrees all the time.
Fair enough. Old guy. It's January. It keeps me warm.
He says as everyone else is like, oh, what?
He has
He's pretty heavily
old
dressed.
man thyroid.
Oh.
He's an old man. His blood is cold.
So I'll ask Lisa if there's anything she wants to eat before we go.
And would you still be eating, or would you not be eating at this point? Would you be like eating as you brainstormed?
Yeah, I mean,
So-
if you wanted, you could have ordered like breakfast then.
Jean's
Okay, in that
munching
case, she'd ask for like, a stack of pancakes or something like sweet and fluffy and kind of indulgent.
So yeah,
She's a bit of a glutton. She likes her food, her sweet stuff and her junk food. She probably put like the entire tiny syrup canister on it, and that might make you raise an eyebrow.
I'm gonna get the bird because he might actually calm down a bit if I have him with me. So
And
speaking,
No.
pancakes thrown back like 3 or 4 cups of coffee. All black as pitch. And he still looks like he just rolled out of a bed after 6 months without sleep.
So, as a person who psychologically profiles people for a living, I'm going to surmise that Lisa probably grew up in a much more lavish and indulgent household, especially seeing the car she just pulled up in.
Jean hasn't even noticed the car.
I'm just having so much fun envisioning the future dialogue between Jean and Lisa.
Actually, I take that. Jean has noticed the car. Jean missed Lisa getting out of the car and coming in. So he's looked at the car and just gone, what son of a bitch drives that piece of crap? Who wants to stick out like that in the middle of this place?
and so when
And
you
Lisa just says, "Oh, that's my father's car. I borrowed it for our needs today." Just just normal tone of voice.
and that's the moment when Jean just looks at her in disbelief.
So you want us to go about our investigation in that jalopy?
Yes.
We're gonna get shot. Do you want us to get shot?
No.
I pat Jean on the shoulder and say it's better than walking, and I throw down some money for our food and say let's get going, and I thank the waitress on our way out.
All right.
Lisa just has her eyebrows furrowed and looks slightly confused.
So hold on. We want to go into the slums with the loudest car in California.
No, it's not a slum. It's a what do you call it? It's a
undeveloped. It's
undeveloped. So this is but that means this is a place where they're looking to put in like apartments.
Yeah.
It didn't sound like it was going to be developed into nice stuff. It sounded like it was being developed into like the projects.
It didn't. What kind of buildings
Yeah,
will be going up?
Some sorts of housing is planned to be put there, at least.
But is it like high class housing, or is it just like?
At this moment in time, it hasn't really been decided. Or at least if it has been decided, it's not been like obviously like there's no like information about it like that you could get without needing to specifically search for someone who would know.
How affluent is the
I have a question then.
Yeah.
Is the witness Betty Bearsinger,
Mm-hmm.
would she then, having a 3-year-old, was she from the police report, was she the sort of, soccer mom, average income housewife looking type of woman, or was she sort of like single mother, sort of harried and tired looking person?
She seemed to have been a, let's say, she seems to have been just a normal housewife.
In that case, she's probably not going to take her kid walking in a slummy, dangerous type of neighborhood.
Yeah, that was my thought. Fair enough.
Yeah,
Lisa just thinks Lisa has no idea, what cars are good cars, and has just brought a car and is slightly confused, but just assumes it's because he's grumpy because he's drinking like 4 or 5 coffees and looks terrible.
No amount of coffee seems to have made him look any better.
Yeah.
That's normally a sentence you'd use with alcohol, but it's different in his case. Now, your plan was heading to the crime scene itself currently.
Yeah, or just about.
Yeah. So okay, I mean, you're probably gonna be the one driving then, because you know where it is. Do you want to?
Do I have to roll so I don't flip the car?
No, you don't need to roll, because you're not doing any difficult driving.
Okay.
But you probably my question to you is how far away from the crime scene do you want to park the car?
Well, how is it paved roads up to where the crime scene is, or is it sort of?
Yes, there are paved roads there.
And how?
At least where the body was discovered, that is.
How much how much do they have cordoned off? With crime scene tape. Because I imagine they haven't taken down the scene yet.
No, the scene hasn't been taken down yet, and there are still a few officers there.
Then I would park literally as close to the crime scene tape as possible.
Okay. It's a pretty the area that has been quarantined. It's not huge, but it's a decent area. It's maybe somewhere around. It's somewhere around at least it's at least something around 30 to 40 feet have been quarantined because they're searching around the area.
Yeah.
So it's a decent area, but it's not overly huge.
Yeah. Well, if it isn't up to the actual street, I would just park literally parallel to it.
It is basically up, just kind of all the way up to the street because the body was found very close to the street. So yeah, very it's very close to the street itself. So you'd probably be parking like if you're parking and you wouldn't want to park on the street, you would have to like drive a bit like onto the grass on the side. I mean, some police cars did that to not like block the road.
Yeah, I have no care of like the trying to keep this car as pristine as possible. I would just like go to where the police cars are parked because I am a police woman, and park next to them.
You can see that there are like about 4 officers there, and they're probably there mostly just to like look over the crime scene to make sure that nobody tampers with it. And when they see your car like roll in parked next to it, like there are 2 police cars there, they kind of eye the car, give it kind of like a side eye, and
well, I didn't say this before because I hadn't thought about it, but I just now thought of it. Can I sort of retcon something?
Yeah. Let's see what it is.
I imagine they have like for plainclothes vehicles, they have some sort of like not plaque, but sort of something you'd stick in the window or something to identify, to other cops or whatever that this is a police car in use. Like this is, some sort of proof.
I'm not sure how it is at that time, but some police cars, like plainclothes police cars, have like where you can take a siren and put it on, and
I don't mean like that. I just mean like
yeah, I'm just talking about
disabled stickers.
Yeah,
just something like that, but not quite hanging from the.
Yeah, I was just getting to basically what I know the cars have. I think that they might have something that you could put maybe in the window, but I think most of them would like you could just easily also show them your badge.
Well, I'm just saying because Lisa is so incredibly like.
You could also just put your badge in the window as you drive.
No, I don't. I think that's kind of that's kind of
that's
a little bit
silly.
Too, yeah. So in that case, if there isn't anything like obvious, she would just flash her badge at the people who were side-eyeing her, or maybe they would recognize her as one of the like only maybe not only, but one of the very few female cops in the stations around town.
Yeah, I mean when you'd go out of the car, they'd probably recognize you, but you'd probably flash the badge mostly out of like to show
habit.
them that habit basically, to show like your own duty and stuff. So yeah, they kind of like when they see you like arrive and you're like flashing the badge, they kind of like they nod, but like they have a bit of a sour face on them. It's like they've probably been there like most of the night, and you can see them holding like coffee cups. Like somebody's like one of them's probably gone off, got some coffee for them like in a hot container, and just like they're drinking coffee and they're really just tired. They're like,
they're drinking hot coffee in 70-degree weather.
Yeah, but they do see, but they recognize you, but they don't recognize the people with you, Leslie and Jean. So they kind of side eye them once they see you and they like nod. Then they see the people with you, and their eyes go back to like, who are they?
In that case, I would look for would I be able to sort of recognize who would be the senior officer on the scene, or would they all just be like
let's
grunts
say
doing a grunt job?
These are basically just officers, so they're basically grunts, but you would think that one of them's probably You could approach the closest one, which you know is Officer Harold's.
Does Officer Harold hate me? Do I know if he hates? I wouldn't know if he hates me because she has no fucking idea.
No, you would not know.
So in that case, I would approach the closest officer and sort of do an introduction. These are.
Whoa!
I'm having a whole bunch of static. Is anybody else?
I'm also getting a whole bunch of static.
I think we're good.
Alright, the static is leaving. That was a whole lot of static there for a second.
In that case, I would introduce Jean and Leslie, say these are agents from the FBI sent here to assess and assist with the case, and we've come to get a fresh eye on the crime scene and perhaps look over the more re-interview witnesses.
He kind of like he's still eyeing them when you approach him and goes like, yeah, I heard you guys might arrive. Don't worry, we're just here to watch over the crime scene. So if you have any trouble, just holler towards me. Just let the other officers know that you're going to be snooping around.
I imagine we proceed to do that. Just like however many there are, just move one to the other.
I mean, yeah, you could probably do that as they go under the police tape.
You know what? I actually imagine that I would go and do that.
Yeah.
And the other two would stay there because I can't see Jean doing that.
Yeah.
Like after the first time.
So while Lisa goes and do that, Jean and Leslie, what do you want to do? You're just standing right outside the police tape, and Lisa just goes under the police tape at this time.
I would like to roll a perception on the police officers, or all the men around, see if I notice anything out of place.
Alright. Let's go for spot then.
Oh, your spot's garbage.
Oh, my spot hidden garbage. That's what I wanted to do. The psychology.
You're gonna look around, like you're looking to see if something's out of place, like with them, right?
Well, not with the setting, not with the ground. More looking at, are these police officers just like doing their due diligence, or are any of them being shifty?
Yeah. So I'd like you to roll psychology then for me.
That's what I meant when I rolled the 66.
Yeah. Oh, you rolled a 66? Wow, I didn't.
Yeah, I first rolled a 66.
We're having connection issues. My internet keeps going in and out.
Yeah, okay. It's probably gonna pop up sooner or later. It's just it was really slow for you last time, but yeah, 66. If I remember correctly, that should be enough for you.
Everything falls off.
Yeah, there comes the 6. Yeah, I can see the 66 now. But yeah, we'll go with the 66 because
okay, good.
Once you explained it to me, I got it better. So what you can immediately notice is that they seem to be just tired. They've probably been there like the whole night, and probably maybe even a little bit longer than that. And they seem to be like they've managed to. They seem to be like not like they're tired, but they're not like out of it. They just seem to be somewhat like tired and frustrated, and you can kind of see it on like, especially like because Harold's is like next to you. You can just see that he like really wants to leave, and but you also think like the reason why he was also pretty like quick in deciding to just let you guys check out the crime scene and stuff like that is probably because he doesn't want to deal with any problem, so he just decided to let you guys check it out. But you do notice though, like before you actually like go try to go over like under the police tape, he does ask to see like identification just so that he knows. Like he's at least diligent enough to like ask you for identification to be certain that you are actually who you say you are, or who Lisa says you are.
Hold on 1 second, I lost Skype.
Alright,
say it again. He wants to see your basically identification.
Badges.
Like he just wants to see some badges, some identification before you actually like go under the police tape to examine the crime scene. Because like he can't really let you go there unless he knows that you are like with the FBI.
All right, then I'd show him my ID, and be very polite and say thank you, sir.
Gene would sort of curmudgeonly reach into his coat pocket and pull it out. And then it's still sort of early and bright, so as he goes under the police tape, he pulls a pair of sunglasses and puts them on.
Do you show him your badge? Your identification, Gene?
Yes.
Okay. When you do, he just nods and he kind of like lifts up the tape a little bit to let you go under. And like once you go under, he doesn't really pay you any more mind. He just keeps looking around, like watching if there are like any questionable people around or anything like that. So
all right.
So you guys wanted to examine the crime scene itself?
Yeah. Well, I was going to catch up with Lisa and ask her to sort of go over what she knows, just to hear it from her own voice. Having as many different points of view is very helpful.
Okay.
Good.
So Lisa, Leslie just approaches you after you like finish talking to the last one of the officers, and Leslie just approaches you and starts to ask you what you know about the crime scene.
At that point, she would pull out her little notebook that she took the important notes on, and she would start rattling off facts from the file. Well, she would first say, this is what was in the file about the crime scene, and the body was cut in half by the waist. The weapon wasn't serrated. It was discovered on the 14th.
Was probably not serrated because there was no weapon at the site.
Well, yeah, but okay, and she had a smile carved in her body. She was drained of blood. Her organs were underneath her, and she was obviously posed. The witness that had showed up, and then she would start just saying random things that she's observing from the crime scene, just like the local flora, the only flora that she knows about that would be there.
At this point, are we meandering towards where the body was found?
There are markings to where things were found and where the body was found.
Is there a chalk outline?
On the
there's not a chalk outline on the grass, but there is I would think that they'd put some sorts of outline where the body was found and how it was found. using
Maybe paint?
some sorts of like tape or something like that to outline it, because like they could not chalk it out there.
Yeah.
Right, they probably have like those little yellow flags that are numbered.
Yeah.
And then they have a corresponding thing that says what each of the numbers were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you could
Or they
get
use
one of those from one of the officers.
Use the flags and then tied strings to them, because I've seen a couple. They do that as well. Make a little outline with string.
I would think like they probably use like some sorts of like paint to paint out the outline. So that
I have a question.
yes.
What would the weather be like in the week before, or the week during the murder? Would it be sunny, rainy? Like what's the date? Like the day before the murder, the day of the murder, the day after the murder, and just of the important dates. Has it rained at all?
Let's see. It's been basically. It's been sunny basically most week. It's not been. It hasn't like rained or anything like that, but it's been. It's been a bit cloudy maybe, but it's not. But there hasn't been any rain or anything like that. It's been pretty good weather overall.
Nothing would have washed away from the body, or no footprints would have smeared or anything, and it probably smells really bad.
Yeah, basically, like the ground is pretty dry where you are. Like there are like grass patches and also like mud patches and stuff like that, like where you can see just the ground itself. Oh my god, my god. But most of the place is basically like in pretty good state for a crime scene. Like there's not been any tampering with it by like people, with the exception of the police maybe, and by nature. So there hasn't been anything like really to screw up the crime scene itself. Gene.
Not where the body was found.
They've shown where the body was found.
Yes, I want to do a spot hidden for anything else around where the body was found.
Ah, yeah. Okay.
Not hidden to find where it was found.
I want to find it. You stand in the painted area.
I need to stop hidden to put one foot in front of the other and on my face.
But yes, you can use a spot hidden to try to find something that might be interesting.
I got a 960.
You don't obviously see anything that you think that the police officers have missed. It doesn't seem to have been like when you look around where the body was, there are a bit of like patches of like a little bit of like blood and some dirt, which you probably think are like remnants from the body itself. There wasn't really a whole lot of blood. We were talking about maybe a little bit of blood where the body like where the body was lying. There's maybe a bit of like a blood formation, a little bit there, but there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of things surrounding the body. One thing that you do notice though is that the ground around it seems to be a bit trampled, and you're not completely sure if it's just because of the police activity that's been here for the last couple of days, or whether or not it's notable enough to account for like the before she was like murdered, whether or not it was this trampled at that time. But the ground surrounding the body is like obviously more trampled than the like where the body was lying.
Can I do a spot hidden just around, not necessarily for like what the body is, but sort of just around the scenery, just like in the little like clearing, to see if anything is out of place that doesn't have to do with the murder.
Anything that seems out of place in there?
Yeah, just like not to do with the body or you know, just something odd that's not I'm trying to explain this, but I'm not doing a very good job. If anything seems out of place for this area, like if anything, you know, any signs of people that wouldn't necessarily be part of the murder, or that I wouldn't know would be part of the murder.
No.
No?
Not inside the crime scene area per se, but
well, that's,
you do. But you do notice.
I don't necessarily mean just inside the crime scene. I mean,
yeah,
like
but
not just as sort of as far as the eye can see. Can I do a spot hidden for anything weird?
You don't need to specifically use a spot hidden for this, but you do see a little bit like further away from the crime scene. There is another police tape a bit further, and there's not really, and there's no police officer at it, but they can obviously see it. So
yeah,
and that might be, and you start to think that might perhaps be the other area mentioned in the like where they found like the bag with strange stuff in it.
The what?
There was a bag, basically, that, if I remember correctly, there was a bag that was found.
The blood bag.
Yeah.
The blood bag.
Basically that.
In that case, I would point that out to them, and then probably go ask the officers about if anyone's assigned to that area, or if they are also the guards assigned to that.
Basically Harold tells you like that, like they are watching it, but there hasn't been anyone that's going there, and they haven't seen the need to go specifically there just to stand there.
Well, in that case, can I go over there and do a spot hidden, or would that have covered Michael's as well?
No, Michael did just specifically around where the body was found, but you could go there and do a spot hidden there.
Just basically within the crime scene tape, can I do a spot hidden? Or the crime scene tape of that specific crime scene?
You could go there and just search if you want to. That's no problem.
I would like to, please.
Okay.
Would you like me to roll anything?
Yes, I would like you to roll spot hidden there. Since you're trying to find maybe something that like is a bit like you're trying to find something that might be hard to find, or like stuff like that.
Yeah, just anything out of place, or just, you know, I'm concentrating on I wanna look good in front of the FBI people, because I don't know what to do. I'm just sort of standing around.
So yeah, just you head towards it, and let's roll spot hidden.
Woo!
Oh.
God damn it.
So you start to you go under
my spot hidden is 60.
Yeah. You kind of go and look around, but you don't see anything. Like, you go under the police tip. It's not a very large. This is maybe like around 10 feet in total covered area. But you don't see anything other than like the already before mentioned in your report, like footprints there, and the bag. But the bag smells horrible.
Oh yeah.
It seems like they didn't move the bag, but they probably took samples from it.
It's probably covered in maggots.
Yes. they probably didn't want to move it in case they needed to revisit the crime scene for some extra information, or whether or not it would attract any attention from possibly the murderer. But you do know though, Lisa, that they will probably wrap up the crime scene in a few days. So they will probably remove the if basically nothing happens in a few days or something, in maybe a week or so, they might actually they'll probably remove the tape and stuff like that, so that and take the everything that might be evidence back to the police station.
But in that case, we do have a couple days to revisit if we get any breakthroughs or ideas.
Yeah. So you do have a couple of days.
Lisa has no idea what to do, and just sort of stands there confused for a moment, or not confused, but sort of frustrated, and then walks back to the FBI agents.
Yeah. When you see Lisa walk towards the other police tape, does either one of you want to join her, or are you just going to stay at the other site and search there?
Didn't she say that she was walking back towards us?
Yeah, now
yes.
She's doing, but when you see her go, it's basically what you're doing while she's going there and searching.
Honestly, this scene, in my professional opinion, has been just trampled over. Everybody's gone over it. I honestly don't think there's anything that can be really learned here. The only reason I thought it was worth coming was to get a look at the police officers who were guarding the crime scene in case this was some sort of an inside job. But Leslie just thinks that we're done here, and he's just biding his time until everybody else realizes it too.
Gene, what do you want to do once you see you probably notice Lisa at the other crime scene when you're when you stop looking at the ground and stuff. So
yeah, Gene in his own head a little bit still, but one thing that Gene sort of recognizes as he's looking over this is just how freaking bizarre it all is. Gene does have a little bit of a background in the occult sciences, so I'd like to see if he knows anything from an occulty perspective, or if he notices or puts something together.
Okay.
In that respect. And he doesn't. Never mind.
The only thing that you can that he thinks of is the same stuff as some of the police officers were scared about, and that's that this might have been ritualistic in nature. But other than that, nothing nothing specifically grabs your mind. So, which probably kind of frustrates you because you feel like you'd have to somewhat agree with the police officers that think this is ritualistic in nature, but the idea seems so basically half baked that it seems more like an escape from proper diagnosis, basically. But other than that, you don't really figure anything out specific.
Alright,
then when Lisa comes back over, Leslie asks politely if she thinks there's anything we could possibly learn else from this crime scene, or if we should head it off.
Lisa would say probably that at this point the leads that we have are probably a better our time would be better spent going and re-interviewing witnesses and perhaps seeing if them being FBI agents might get more information out of people who were more reluctant to speak than before, like the reporter.
Right.
If
That was my thought as well.
Because out of character, if she's chasing like a big story, if you can promise her like inside information for when the crime breaks, if we manage to solve the crime, or if we can give her false information to try and see if that if giving her false information, if someone else, if some suspect we have sort of eases, has a false sense of security because of that, if we could promise her something, she might be much more willing to work with us.
So my first reaction would be just to ask nicely for information, and last time I checked, it is still a crime in California to withhold information from the police in an ongoing investigation. I don't want to go there, but honestly I think it's better for us, and probably better for Lisa's career, not to promise anything. I don't mean to go in...
This is out of character. This is,
right.
I don't think Lisa would do that. However, I think I don't have any faith that she's not going to be a blood-sucking reporter as opposed to a
Good
justice.
Samaritan.
Yeah, as a good Samaritan reporter. So that might be. We should keep in mind that we might not get anything out of her because she could be a buzzard.
It's true, but like I said last time I checked, it's still a crime to withhold possible evidence from the police. Now, unless she's turned over the photos that she has, which seem to be different from the ones that the police collected, unless she is willing to do that, or since we're out of jurisdiction, you are within your rights to arrest her and put her in prison until she's willing to cooperate.
I probably could, however, because she's part of the press, that's probably going to open a can of worms that just means we're not going to get any of the pictures in the case file. Because she'll have, if I do arrest her, we'll have a lot of problems with freedom of the press, freedom of free speech, and that sort of lawyery law type problems. That's most likely.
If she did hand over the pictures, can we just go and arrest Mr. Horrells? I like that idea. Jean likes that idea a lot.
Yeah. Zia likes that idea a lot too, but Lisa has no fucking clue. Anyway, I just wanted to put that thought out there, just because 90% of the time in any sort of fantasy setting, reporters are buzzards floating around bodies looking for meat to scrape off.
No, absolutely.
But Lisa is totally for just going and asking nicely because, and then maybe threatening her a little because, law-abiding, justice prevails, good cop.
No. Do you know, Lisa, do you know where she might be found? Do you know her home address or her work address?
I don't think I would know her home address, but I would imagine it would have, like, her contacts, maybe her whoever. She was a freelance, right, Godpool?
She is a reporter for the Los Angeles Herald Express.
Oh, in that case, then she would definitely have either the phone number for the paper or the address of the paper office. The building where the office is located. So, but she wouldn't. I don't think necessarily she'd have her personal information.
It's too bad this is in the age before cell phones. Because now we either have to go back to the office or go back to the hotel or go somewhere that has a phone to make that call.
Well, this is, however, the age of telephone booths and roadside phones. So there might be a phone booth or a roadside blue phone just nearby. Especially in Los Angeles. There's probably, like, tons of them dotted around.
I mean, there are quite a few, so...
Then I would let Lisa lead the way.
So,
Would we, driving in, would we have seen, like, some on the road or nearby?
I mean, you saw some, like, in the... Like, not in the neighborhood area, but, like, as a little bit before you entered the neighborhood area. Like, before you got into the undeveloped part. So, you don't need to go very far to get to a phone.
Is it how many blocks away, do you think?
I would say probably like you would want to drive there. It's that far. Maybe
Okay.
Maybe about 10 blocks.
In that case, yeah, she would suggest, well, there was one in this direction that way. We could drive up to one, and I could connect to the operator and call the police station, or whoever we want to call that I forgot already. Not Lisa, but me.
You were gonna call. Were you gonna call the Herald Express to get her Aggie's personal information or where she is right now?
Wouldn't it be more, because I'm almost positive that she wouldn't just keep the pictures herself. Like, she would at least, like, clear it with her boss in case she has any legal trouble for this. Because, as Brianna said, it is a crime to do this. And if she was just going to keep the pictures, she'd need backing, or she'd want to get backing. Wouldn't it be a good idea to... I'm not saying we shouldn't just go visit her, but wouldn't it be a good idea to also visit her boss? Or whoever, runs the paper, as to say, look, FBI agents, this is a bigger deal than you thought. You might want to cooperate.
That would be totally up to basically up to the three of you. How do you deal with that whole situation?
Well, I definitely think Brianna's suggestion of going and getting her address first and visiting her first would probably be the best thing. I just wanted to put that out there as well, because I wanna go show up to the paper company, with 2 FBI agents and intimidate everyone.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Also go
for blood. It worked so well so far.
Well, I'm sure your intimidate is much better than Kellen's.
I don't think I took points in that.
I don't think I took points in that either.
I should have. I'm basically stone faced. I should have some. I think.
I don't even see intimidate.
Let's see. I don't like. I think like when you're intimidating someone, like I think most of it is specifically just due to like you do it mostly with your just role playing skills overall, and they kind of react to it.
Does that mean I have an advantage?
I'd say, yeah. I think like
I'm a stocky, muscled cop with a stone face.
If I remember correctly, I gave you some bonuses to dealing with people in certain ways. I think.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I think basically like when you're just are intimidating to them, basically, or are intimidating them. Like you don't usually roll anything specifically for that, but when you're maybe using like psychology or stuff like that to like read behind the lines, They might be easier to basically read. Because they...
Me and Brianna should team up. I'll be the deadpan stare, and she can read them with psychology.
Because basically lying, instead of lying, you have fast talk, which is basically like talking yourself, like if you feel like you need to talk yourself out of a situation and you need to do it really quickly, you do basically fast talk. Because fast talk is basically a lie that's like easily, like that you could easily identify as a lie if you just think about it.
Yeah.
But people sometimes fall for it.
Like putting
now
your
that
iPhone in wave to charge it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll call the station and see if I can't get her, or call the operator for the. God, I don't know what they did in 1950s, but I know they had like basically you called someone that was the phone book.
The operator.
You know?
Yeah, the operator.
So I'd call the operator, ask if I could get her address, and if not her address, then her phone number.
I mean, you can do that. That's.
Do I have to roll for that?
No, you do not specifically need to do that. But the thing that you can do, and this is from what I've read, you as a police officer, you can basically, because sometimes police officers like call specifically for information from the operator, and if I remember correctly, they can like, you could give up your badge number and stuff, which will confirm that you're a police officer, and they could search for information for you.
I'd totally do that. That sounds, like a thing that she would do.
Yeah.
What information would it just be the information that I just said, or would it be some other information?
I mean, we can also just roleplay you calling the operator.
It would be a very boring roleplay. Doesn't know how to talk to people.
But yes, but other than that, we do know that you do know that her full name, she's just called Aggie Underwood, but her name is Agnes May Underwood. That's the full name of Miss Underwood. Let's find out where.
I would imagine that I have my own special they like gave me the chatty operator, like my badge number. They just transfer me to the chatty one that no one ever wants. So I just because I'm just stoically listening to her speak, and I'm never rude to her, and so they just give me the one that never shuts up.
So I'm gonna find out really quickly, like where she like if they have information where she specifically lives.
I also need a better word than stoic because I keep saying it, but I can't think of anything else. Stone-like, but not rude.
Pensive.
Let's see. She is.
Don't like Andrew.
Pensive sort of implies thoughtful, and I don't know. Like she's really intelligent, but not very very book smart. Not very emotionally intelligent.
I can't find like a specific place where she lived, so the operator just does give you the address. Oh, there's loud noises in the other part of the house. What?
Well, in that case, I would probably relay the information.
Yeah, she does give you the she does give you her number, and it does give you her address.
Oh, I have a question. What would the day be? Like, is it the weekend? Is it a weekday?
Today.
Yeah, in the game.
January 17th, 1947, week day. I think I checked this last time as well, but I don't remember. It was a Friday. It is a Friday today.
Okay, and what time of day would it be just about now?
Probably around this time. It would probably be maybe 10 a.m. around now.
She probably wouldn't be home if we went to her house.
Because you went and got breakfast around, and you were probably done eating breakfast and stuff just after 7. And
so
then
would
you
it
had
be worth it? Would it be worth it to go to her house when she's not home?
That would be, you wouldn't know. I couldn't tell you that, but you would have to.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, you know, if Lisa could probably work out, you know, on a weekday, if she has sort of a 9-to-5 job, you know, she probably wouldn't be home. Therefore, you know, if they went to her house, Lisa's not going to let you guys break in without a warrant. So what would the purpose be?
You'd probably just need more information on Aggie, specifically, if you want to.
Well, yeah, but
the paper is probably our best option at this point.
Wait, didn't you say it was a Saturday?
It's a Friday.
No, he said
It's
Friday.
a Friday.
Then probably she'd be at the paper, which would be public information that the operator could give you.
yeah, I would get, you know, her phone number, her address, and her work address.
Yeah, you probably had also, like, you could have also easily gotten the work address and work phone number from the police, because that's written in the file. Because she is technically seen one of the witnesses. Because she was pretty, she arrived pretty, like, one of the first people to arrive at the crime scene.
So in that case, I would, like, suggest we go speak to her or her employer and, like, leave it up to you guys, because you're the senior officers. Senior peoples. More advanced in job.
You say senior, I look at Leslie and roll my eyes.
Hey, I'm 40, what is it, 42?
You're still green as the moss on the bottom of my shoe.
And how long have you been working for the FBI?
This is just a tennis ball match. Lisa's looking back and forth and back and forth.
It's oddly enough because I was letting Lisa take charge because she knows the area, she knows the people. As a psychoanalyst, Leslie usually spends most of his time watching people. But yeah, are we gonna go to the office, the paper's office?
She would then look to Jean.
Gene just nods his head and gets in the car.
Okay, then.
Which would probably
where we
mean
start
yes. So you're going to head towards the to the Herald's Express. So you head down there. You probably arrive there around like 11-ish. You don't have too much traffic on the way, so but you arrive there around 11, give or take. And it's not a hard to find building. It's you know, kind of how like some of how many like buildings are kind of like marked with a lot of like marked with the company and like papers and stuff like that. So it easily stands out. It's I think it was not sure if it was a really big building. But you can find a place to park outside and just then you just have to head in.
I put coins in the traffic meter.
Question: does the car have a really obnoxious horn as well?
No, I imagine the horn's normal.
It's just
Everything else is everything else is really obnoxious, but because her dad has a little bit of road rage, the horn is completely normal, so it's not, so it doesn't get on his nerves.
It's just a very loud honk. It's a very, very loud honk.
Most of the curse words that she knows in Italian are solely because of her father's road rage.
Yeah. So, yes, you can go and talk to, but yeah, you can go in. You can see, like, and when you enter the building itself, you can see, like, that there's like buzz going on, similar to the police station. You can see, like, a lot of, it's not nearly maybe as buzzardy there, but you can see, like, people kind of, like, walking forth, like, a lot of them talking together. You kind of get the idea that this is kind of how it's normally, how just basically normal business for the reporting business. And you basically just have to talk to the receptionist to get more, to learn more. There is a receptionist basically just there, and you can you see just there are, like, as I said, like, behind, you can see, like, people walking forth, and you can see there are, like, like, further back there are stairs up, and there are a few desks down there that are, like, have some people, like, working.
So in that case, I would walk up, flash my badge, and ask which desk or the current whereabouts of Aggie Underwood.
The lady at the reception kind of looks up, and when you flash the badge, she kind of nervously looks around, and Miss Underwood is in her office at the second floor.
Okay, and I ask, the number of the office, or the whereabouts of it.
It is. It should be marked with their name. It should be on the right hand.
I say thank you, and I just walk past.
So,
I reach for Lisa and ask if she wouldn't mind letting me do the talking when we get upstairs.
She just nods.
Alright, perfect.
Jean sort of just snickers and gives her a thumb up, like, okay, you go for it. Have fun.
So I guess we go upstairs, and are there, like, labels on the doors? Or is it just there's a small second floor, and that is the office?
Yeah, it's not very hard to find her, like, where her office is. Pretty easy. Like, her name is, like, on the door itself and everything. You just basically walk up the stairs, and, like, directly on the right, you find, like, her office basically.
All right. Is the door open? Is the door closed?
It is closed at the moment, but you can see her though, because, like, it's one of those offices back in the day where you, like, where there are, like, glass panes on the walls, like, so you can, like, there are curtains and stuff on it, but they're not pulled for, like, they're not covering anything at the moment, so you can obviously see into the office, and you can see that she's just sitting there and working. She seems to be on the phone at that moment, at least.
I gently knock on the door and wait for the door to be opened.
You can hear like muffled talking, but in a moment, you like, if any of you are looking through the window, you can just see her put down the phone and says, "It's open."
I turn the doorknob. I imagine I'm wearing a hat. I take my hat off. And I say, "Miss Underwood?"
That would be me, yes.
Hi, my name is Dr. Leslie Hart, PhD. I understand that you took some pictures of the tragic events that are being classified by the police as werewolf killings. Would you mind talking to me for just a moment?
She kind of straightens up in the straightens up in her seat and goes, "Yeah, I was one of the first reporters on this on the scene of the crime. I took some took some pictures of the body and the crime scene itself, but none of the pictures have been posted anywhere on in any of the papers or anything like that. Not at least not any of the ones without the body covered, at least."
Ma'am or miss, I have no intention of trying to undermine your work, your establishment. I know that your leads are how you make your bread and butter. I certainly wouldn't want to jeopardize that. Can you just let me know if the tip-off that you got for this particular murder was a new person? Is this a new person who gave you this information? Or is this tip someone that you had been previously involved with? Mostly I'm asking if it was anything suspicious.
I have a contact that usually gives me my information. He's the one that told me about the case, about the murder itself.
All right.
And at that moment, she kind of like says, "Dr. Hart, was it? What?
Yes, ma'am.
What interest do you have in the case?"
I'm currently, I've been asked by the local police to try and get an idea of the type of person who would do such a tragic and horrible thing. I'm trying to turn over rocks, see, I'm just trying to help the police eventually catch this monster so they'll never be able to hurt anyone like this again.
I got an interview scheduled with a man named Robert Manley, who supposedly had some sort of relationship with Miss Short. I could possibly give you his information as well if you want.
That would be much appreciated.
She jots down on a paper like his name and a phone number and hands it over the desk.
Thank you very much. I certainly don't want to take up much of your time, but was there anything that you found in either when you were developing the photographs or when you were at the crime scene, anything that seemed suspicious to you? I'm sure you have an eagle eye for this sort of thing. Something that you think the police would have missed?
Well, most of my information, not that I noticed specifically on the crime scene itself. I didn't stay for very long. I just interviewed some of the officers at the tried to interview some of the officers at the scene of the crime and got some pictures, and after that I tried to figure out more information about who the murder victim was. It wasn't until maybe 3 hours after the murder that I learned what her name was, which is by that time I started trying to figure out more about her and who she worked with or who she knows. Which is how I discovered her connection to Robert Manley. But that should be information that the police already has.
Yes, indeed they did, although they hadn't given me the address or his phone number, which I do thank you for. One last thing before I go. Is there any chance that I can look at the photographs that you took? I have no intention of taking them from the building. I would just like to compare them with the photographs that I saw from the police office. I won't even leave your office. I'd just like to look at them with my own eyes. You want me to persuade for that?
I would like you. I would like you to roll persuade for me. It doesn't seem like she's reluctant to it at all. Even.
Can I push it?
No, but you're not in a bad spot, even though you failed. All
right.
It would have just kind of changed how she. It would have just kind of changed a little bit how she would have reacted. She kind of gives you a. She's kind of narrowing her eyes a bit, and as she's like going through, like opens up a file, like which you can see like contains a lot of photos in it, and as she's handing it over, and she kind of says like, sure, but I thought I gave most all of the photos to the police shortly after I took them, so.
I appreciate it. Any new perspective could lead us in the right direction. And I take a look at the photos. I do not have the best spot hidden, but I also I hand them, once I've looked at them, I hand them over to Jean.
It's kind of like at this point though that she kind of asks like, do you have any identification or something that I could use to like reference you by? But
oh, absolutely. And I reach into my my wallet, which I keep in my back pocket, and I pull out. I have two sets of cards. One that says FBI, one that doesn't. But the one that doesn't does say Arkham in big letters, because that's where I was working before I worked for the FBI. And I asked her if she could, if I could borrow a pen, and so I can give her the address, the phone number of the hotel where she can leave me a message if she needs to contact me.
She hands you a pen, no problems.
So yeah, I scribble down the number and say all my information's on this. You can contact, what's the chief's name?
Orals.
Or you can contact Orals.
Horals with an H. Horals.
Orals at the station. He'll tell you that I indeed work for the police, but if you have any other questions, you can reach me at this motel.
When she takes the card, you did show her the card. Like when you showed her the Arkham card, she seems to relax a little bit. It seems, and you can roll psychology if you want.
I do want. I got it. That's a psychology of 75. I got a 58.
Yeah, you gathered that she was probably somewhat uncomfortable talking to you about the case until you kind of showed her, and you feel like a part of that is because you weren't because you failed your persuasion.
Yeah.
You feel like she was. You feel like she might have tried to hold more back if you hadn't showed her any identification. Because you just kind of walked in and said that you were working for the police, but you didn't have any references to what know for a fact if you did or not.
Right. She might think that we're fellow reporters trying to get an inside scoop.
Yeah.
I do ask, when is the meeting you're supposed to have with Robert Manley? Is it now? Is it in an hour? Is it this afternoon?
I got it. It is scheduled for in the evening when he is off from work.
All right. Do you know where he works?
I can find that out in my notes. Let us find out.
Quick question.
Yes.
Does anybody have biology or medicine?
I think I have medicine. Where is it?
You were 45.
Because
I have a 45 in medicine.
if would those two roles give us any information on like the state of the body? Anything like
Give me one moment.
If your spot hidden is a little bit less than your medicine or your biology, would that work better since you can sort of see what's wrong with your guts, with her guts or her body? You think? Burb is throwing a fit. He wants to be internet star.
I think the bird killed him.
Don't you know he is the bird?
Oh, sorry about that. I thought I muted the microphone. Did the bird go just insane?
He's very cute, don't worry.
So, let's see. Let's see if I can't find where Robert Red Manley was working.
Hey, Godpool, I asked a question while you were gone, but would medicine or biology help, like, suss out maybe some things that were done to the body?
Possibly.
I'm just asking because
you could use that. It would be really hard to figure it out just by looking at pictures. It would be easier to figure it out if you were actually looking at the. If you were looking like at the body itself, but looking at pictures is a lot harder.
Okay. I just had a thought because my medicine and biology is garbage. And my spot hidden is really high, but somebody else might have the opposite, and that might be that might get them a better role.
I mean, you would probably want to use spot hidden to like examine the picture themselves and try to see if you can't find anything out of interest. But
yeah, you were gonna roll for the spot hidden on the picture.
Yeah, I was gonna roll spot hidden on the pictures as I come through
them over.
Because Gene's like fuming, pissed off at this point that these pictures were given to the cops and then not provided to us. It only reinforces that the cops are trying to screw us. And not only that, but screw the case. So Gene's taking like copious mental notes as he goes through these pictures and sees anything that differs from what he's been shown to date. But hidden.
Most of the pictures that you guys are looking at are pictures that you haven't seen before. Not in your case file, at least. They might be. They're probably in a case file at the police station, from what she was saying. But other than that,
I'm now both glad and disappointed that Kellen's not here, because the next time we see the chief, if he was here for this. The chief would probably kill him. Or at least throw you off of the case. And demote me.
So that's a hard success.
Oh no! I'm gonna correct a little bit of the information. She has an interview scheduled with him the 20th of January. But she also informs you that she has relayed this information to the police. As you know, that was like in your file. But but he should probably be. They're probably trying to. They're probably staking out his. The police is probably trying to get some information on him, or trying to just figure out more about him. He is a married man after all, so it's not an obvious thing. And she also mentions to you that when she was talking to him, that he did ask for some discretion there, about the interview.
Okay.
But currently, from what she knows, there are police officers staking out his home, and there have probably been officers that have gone to talk to him. Or at least that wouldn't surprise her, because she gave them this information early yesterday, before you guys arrived.
Okay. Well, what was your spot hidden?
I got a hard success on the spot hidden.
So, looking at the initial pictures of the crime scene, you can see, and this kind of helps that you were looking at the ground around before, but the ground was not nearly as trampled. Is not nearly as trampled on these pictures. They seem to be. It seems to be like a lot softer. It's not like flattened out really, and you do find it also kind of interesting that this might be something that people may have not noticed, but they're like, you do notice that there are some footprints there around, but not very obvious ones. But sadly, because the scene itself is so trampled and so basically ruined, you couldn't go and get any proper information. But you do get an idea that there were, at some point, there was probably a little bit of clues on footprints and stuff like that. But the fact that the crime scene was so quickly kind of what's the word again? It basically, because the ground around the crime scene got trampled so quickly because there's been so much police activity going on, that some of the evidence that you could have used is probably lost.
Do I get handed the pictures, or are they sort of more suspicious of me now?
I mean, it's totally up to Gene whether or not he hands you the pictures or not.
Gene, what do you do with the pictures?
Gene sort of hands the folder back. I'm assuming you're standing behind us.
Basically, I'm not hiding from her, but I imagine it's not a large office, and no one sat down, so I'm just sort of, not crowding.
I hand them back to you at the same time. Gene's just really pissed off and goes, "So you've seen these before, right?" And hands you the pile of pictures.
And I say no, because she hasn't, and she probably knows now that he's pissed off at her, but she's sort of sad now, because she doesn't necessarily suspect that Horrell's corrupt yet, but she is, she's kind of aware that he is not playing nice with the FBI, and so she knows she's sort of the scapegoat for this.
So, what I want,
And so,
in case you want to like know more stuff about Lisa at this moment, I'd like for you to roll psychology, Gene.
Who?
You
Roll psychology?
roll psychology on Lisa, basically.
Critical success.
You are aware that I have a pet chinchilla named Sergeant Bearclaw.
No. You do manage to figure out, you do see that she generally doesn't seem to have known about these pictures. That she was probably as much in the dark as you guys were. If anything, she seems to be a little bit sad about just discovering this information just now.
So I turned to Miss Underwood and I said, "Are you sure you gave all of these to the police force?"
Yeah, Captain Horrells Captain Horrells specifically requested them, and I didn't want to get into any trouble with the police, so I handed over what they could use as evidence.
All right, I do appreciate your candor with us, so thank you. We won't take up any more of your time. Out of game, though, I know.
Hold on. Jean turns around and asks Aggie if she has any sort of documentation that he requested or she provided the pictures to him.
Any like specific that Horrells asked for?
Yeah, some sort of letter requesting the evidence,
or even a receipt.
Or a receipt of the evidence.
She kind of just goes, no, he just he requested it on site. So once I had the pictures of the film, I sent him copies. I just took it to the station.
Did you get a receipt back for the evidence?
Not that I remember.
Gene pulls out his FBI badge and puts it on the table and says, "Do you remember now?"
Oh.
She kind of sits up really like quickly when you do that, and just look. He just requested that I brought the pictures to him, so I did that.
Please excuse my coworker. He hasn't had his coffee yet.
He hasn't had his 8th cup yet.
Gene puts his badge back and has walked out the door.
I truly am sorry for that. Again, we believe you 100%. Did the captain ask you not to process these photos to hand them over to anyone else, or to publish them in any paper? Did you get any pushback once you had of that kind?
Like I didn't. The only thing that he specifically requested was when I met him on site, on the site of the crime. He requested from me once he saw me that he could get a copy of the pictures that I just took, because they didn't have a man that could available at the immediate convenience to take pictures of the crime scene. So he just wanted me to. He just wanted pictures fresh of the crime.
All right,
more
Miss,
more than that, I don't know.
If you could do me this favor, I understand that you want to do your due diligence and check that we are who we say we are. After you do that, could you please, if you need to contact us, please do not go through the police to get a hold of us. Like I said, my number is on the back of that card, but I think it might be best for everyone involved if we avoided Horrells for the moment.
Lisa's fidgeting now.
She kind of like nods to her. She doesn't say anything, but she kind of nods. And Lisa, during like
perception on her.
Yeah, but a little bit before that, Lisa, yes, you can roll for the pictures as well.
Okay, am I just rolling spot hidden?
Yeah, you're
Or
just
something
rolling
else?
spot hidden to try to see.
Okay.
Because Jean didn't point anything specifically out to you, so yes, you would be.
Okay. Let's hope for something, under 60 this time.
Yay! You managed!
I
That's
did
a
it!
hard success.
I think this is the first roll of the game that I succeeded.
Yes, it is. You do manage to see the same stuff Jean managed to see. It's not very obvious on the pictures themselves, but kind of like you manage to see, like you take just time and kind of examine them properly. And
Okay.
but other than the information that Jean got, you don't really get anything more of it. You can see though that Aggie just kind of Miss Underwood just kind of like looks at you last thing and goes, I'll if I got any information for you, I'll call the motel, but I do in case since you may have some internal disputes here, I do recommend that you do not go and talk to Robert right away, Mr. Manley right away. The police have been showing him some interest after I reported getting him, finding some information on him, his connection with Miss Short, and he might not be so forthcoming. If anything, he might it might make it harder for you to get information on him right away. I would personally, I would recommend waiting for him to be taken into custody, if anything.
Yes, because that makes people really open up being taken into custody. But I was gonna roll the psychology on her. All I want,
Ace.
But yes, to finish her thought before she continues, it's mostly because I don't think because I think you will have less problems with Chief Horrells if that's how you go about it that way.
I appreciate that. My psychology was a 23 out of my 75.
Yeah, so you're trying to gauge basically what she's thinking. First things you kind of get from just looking at her at the moment, she's kind of like, what did I get myself into?
Okay.
Because and you can just immediately sense that that's definitely due to like what Jean did.
Right.
But she seems to be somewhat nervous at the moment, and she doesn't really want to. She's trying to basically watch a bit what she's saying. Not necessarily being reluctant, but she is a bit. She's, as I said before, nervous since she now knows that one of the people in the room was FBI, and which makes her think that this is a whole a lot more serious thing going on than what than she expected. Especially now, since she's basically learned by talking to you that the connection between you guys and the police station is not very good. So she's kind of unsure how to proceed.
All right. But before I head out the door, I say, Miss, have you ever had any problems with theft in your office? Has anything ever gone missing?
Not from my office. Not that I know of, at least.
All right. I would still encourage you to make at least 2 more copies of the photos that you have in your desk. You should probably keep one at your home and probably put another one in a safety deposit box. And my request is, if we come and ask, we can borrow a copy of those photos if we need to. Obviously, again, we don't want to take anything that's rightfully yours, but and just for safety's sake, I encourage you to make copies and request that if we do require those copies, that if you would be so kind as to lend them to us temporarily.
She nods and goes, I'll take that into consideration.
Thank you. And I head out.
Lisa is left in the room, and did Gene take back his badge from the table?
Yeah.
Okay. She just sort of stands there awkwardly and then goes, "Thank you for your time," and turns around and walks out. She's a little bit depressed right now.
I'm doing my job. Good.
So yes, you leave the office and close the door, and you can see like through the door, through the window that she kind of leans on the table a bit and just rubbing her head as if trying to as if she has a headache, and but other than that, other than that, you just kind of head towards. And Gene, where are you at the moment? Are you outside?
In the car.
When you get out, you can see Gene at the car.
Can I roll for denting the fender?
Come on!
I did the car when I walked out the door.
I mean,
a broken foot more than a dent fender.
I mean, yeah, you could roll for it. I mean, yes, you would just roll kick.
Is kick a thing?
Yeah, kick is a thing.
The
25.
The car's emblem is boxing gloves. Do you really want to take the chance with the person who owns the car?
It's okay. I failed.
You just kind of like miss it, and you're just like, just kind of like.
Oh no!
And you bit like you hit your.
Great.
Like you like touching my foot when you guys come outside.
So, I had imagined I'd been, riding shotgun, but I bundled both, Gene and myself into the back of the car and closed the door before rounding on him. And going, "This is not how we do it in the FBI."
I just look at Leslie and go, "We weren't here. I don't know what you're talking about." Just completely deadpan, no emotion in his voice. Just, "We weren't here. There was nothing that we gained here. We weren't here. No one needs to know we were here."
You showed her your fucking badge. That means we were here.
Cops don't need to know we were here unless she tells them. Unless she tells them we weren't here.
Lisa hasn't even started the car. She's just sort of awkwardly, like, gripping and ungripping her hands on the steering wheel.
When I said let me take the lead, I meant let me take the lead. You're not even qualified for this job. I don't know why you're here.
And thus, an awkward silence stays in the police car for a second.
Jean just taps on the driver's seat, the driver's seat. It says, "We weren't here, right, Lisa?"
Lisa just sort of opens her mouth and says nothing and then closes it. And then nods.
I appreciate that, Lisa. I know what position this must put you in. Found that, after all, we have to go back to, but that this is your. So I guess Leslie gets out of the back of the car, walks back around to shotgun, and sits down, because that's more dignified than climbing from the back of the car. And I turn to Lisa and go, where do you think we should go next? Do you think we should, quite honestly, do you have a less auspicious car? Because we have Robert Manley's address, and I would like to stake it out, maybe look around, but we stick out like a sore thumb. Everybody's gonna remember us in this car.
And she clears her throat and says, well, I don't own a vehicle, this one is borrowed. If we attempt to sign out a car from the police station, most likely, depending on how much time it takes, they'll have a log of how long we've had it out. My father has another car that we could borrow that is, and I'll say, like a type of car. Like, she knows the types, but not the... Or maybe she'll say the color, but she doesn't know what they fucking are. So she'll say, my father has another car that's sort of boxy and looks less like this, and, but other than that, if we wanted one, we'd have to rent one.
I show her the address that Ms. Underwood gave me. I said, is there any chance this is within walking distance?
Is it?
No. It's like it's in more of a suburb area, so you'd have to drive like a bit.
Okay, what about could I
You could leave the car and take a taxi there, however.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Could we park the car somewhere? I would change into, like, exercising clothes and pose as a jogger and just run around the neighborhood. Like, I'm someone who exercises, every 3 days, and I'm a police officer. I have pretty good stamina. So maybe I could pose as a jogger jogging around the neighborhood until I am, too tired to do it.
That sounds like a wonderful idea.
So it's around this time that you are going to decide to park the car somewhere and take a taxi, therefore?
In that case, I would probably just, go to wherever my father stores the car and just sort of return it.
Okay.
And then take a taxi and pay for the taxi myself and just, go
So...
with.
Is the Manley's home close to where the victim lived? Because we also had to talk with the landlord.
It is not close to where the victim lived, no.
Alright.
But you
So-
decide to take the car to your father's place, and as you store it, and as you drive there, there's a bit of an awkward silence in the car, and it is at your dad's place where you're leaving the car that we are going to pick up next time. So.
Well, just one thing before we stop, I wouldn't be like driving to his house. I'd be driving to like a car parking station.
Yeah.
Like, they probably have cars already there for people who are parking their car and leaving it. Just a small note.
Yeah, but yes, during your drive there, there's this kind of a heavy silence in the car due to the action that Jean took, and it is at the parking garage that we will resume the case.
Awesome.
So thank you. Thanks for an entertaining interview with Miss Aggie Underwood.
That was fun.
That was a great way of just slamming your identification on the table. Just
I love the
this is
dynamic.
going smoothly until that happened.
I love the dynamic. Jean just really wants to make Lisa sad. Lisa just really wants to impress the FBI agents, and Leslie just like treats Lisa like sort of a younger, like a sophomore to a freshman, and like just so fucking done with Jean.
I don't think anything's gone right for Gene since we've started, and you can just watch his frustration slowly build until it breaks. And then he goes through it.
That was a great moment where you just like when you were asking for the receipt and she was just like not that I remember, and you just slammed the ID on the table and then, do you remember now? And she's just immediately like look man, I don't know shit. I just did what my...
Fun. What's gonna be fun later is when he calls up the director at the FBI and goes, "The cops are fucking with us."
Yeah.
Because that will be coming shortly.
It's going to be
Am I
great.
allowed to like roll at some point to like lock Jean in the trunk so I can get shit done?
I mean, you could get some manacles and just cuff him. And just leave him in the car.
What you're gonna do is
We
like,
have
put
to
a
drag
downer
along with us.
put a
I could
downer
literally
and
see a moment where you
lock
just...
them in the hotel room.
I could literally see a moment where you just cuff him to a chair in the hotel room or something like that. Just leave him there. Like God dang it, Gene, you just...
God, this I keep talking right as everyone else talks, and I don't mean to, and I apologize.
We're on a call. There are 4 of us. We have no physical cues.
Nope.
Well, I feel bad anyway, and I'm sorry.
It's okay. But for those that were watching, thank you all for watching the second episode of Unsolved, which we have now established more so than ever that this is the Black Dahlia case, and obviously it has some differences from the actual case itself, but that's okay, because we are being creative, and we have a Gene here who is who is our local grumpy man.
He's our mascot.
Yeah, Gene the mascot. But thank you all for watching. I'm G20, and I was joined by Zia, Michael, and Brianna.
Oh.
Hi.
And sadly, Callum couldn't join us. Stuff happened. I was talking to him a little bit in between here, but next time, this one was a little bit shorter than the last one, but next time it will probably go to a 3-hour episode again. So, but again, thank you everybody for listening, and thank you guys for playing, and we will see you in the next episode. Until then, goodbye.